Hey guys, let's talk Married at First Sight, Season 20, Episode 3. So we start this episode with Nikki and Sean. Um, like I said, at the altar, it was very awkward. Um, Nikki doesn't seem interested in him at all or impressed. She's giving it a try because she did say I do, but that's all I got because everything else was like bad. Um, they kiss, they jump the broom because his mother brought the broom for them to jump. Um, and while he's talking to his uncle, they're talking about, they're staying in the same room, and his uncle tells him it's worth the wait. He said he can kind of move fast in that area because remember, he said that I don't know. He said that he was sexually deprived because he grew up in a Christian home. I'm just repeating what the man said, y'all. Don't shoot the messenger. She wants to take it slow because she's not feeling him. And she does agree to she goes for the garter toss. He sits her in the chair and then he pulls the garter off with her teeth, and you can kind of see how very uncomfortable she was. Like, she's this whole episode, every time they interacted, because they didn't really interact much at the reception, they were separate, like mixing and mingling, not with each other. So you can see every time they were around each other, she was completely uncomfortable. And so when they go to the hotel, he asks her if he should sleep on the sofa. She's like, no, you can sleep in the bed. And she asks him what he sleeps in. And he said shorts. And she said, just shorts. And he was like, well, I can put on a shirt. She said, yeah, put on a shirt. She is not attracted to him at all, but then he seems a little bit pushy sexually because he keeps making like sexy jokes and innuendos, which isn't helping with her discomfort, which I can understand why she would be uncomfortable with that. Then we meet the last couple, which is Devin and Caitlin. They both seem a little bit superficial to me. She has had like bad relationship past. She's been in relationships where the other partner were unfaithful and maybe a little bit verbally abusive or so. I'm not sure how serious he is, but it could work. It might work. I'm not writing them off. Her dad wasn't walking her down the aisle because he wasn't feeling the fact that she was getting married to a complete stranger, but he did attend the wedding. The initial attraction was definitely there. Both of their families kind of match energy because they were both like rowdy. So like that's a good thing. Her dad made a speech at the wedding, then he made a speech at the reception. They did kiss at the altar. He had a good one-on-one conversation with her father, and they actually seem like they may be okay. They may be an okay fit. This is the first time we're meeting them. So, and they're meeting each other, so there's a lot to be seen, but they might be able to make it shake. Um, Her dad said that he was glad that he came, and she said that she hasn't seen any red flags from Devin, which is good. Good for her. Love that for her. Then we have Michelle and Cameron. They have a huge height difference. Um, they're both they both live alone, and so they're going to have to adjust to living with someone else. And like I said, I'm not exactly sure on how they feel about each other off the initial meeting. So it may prove difficult for them. she was almost engaged before, but then she figured that that situation wasn't for her, and so she left that situation. But he has never had a long-term relationship before, which is kind of giving her a little pause. But he said that he's optimistic about, them making it as a couple. But like I said, their first meeting was very awkward, so I don't know. Then we have more Belle Jolie and Mecca. She was being cute, but she's very coy. She's a lady. I'm not mad at it. Um, his dad was making jokes at the reception about being about Mecca having an erection when Belle Jolie walked down the aisle, and that's kind of like inappropriate. Like, why is your dad saying that? And like, why is your dad like pushing this? It's kind of weird. I'm not liking that. So because they have familial issues, she doesn't have a relationship with her dad. He doesn't have a relationship with her mom. I like the conversation that they had in the car on the way to the hotel about how they want their families to be because this is what their experiences have been. I hope that they can make that happen and that those experiences that they've had don't interfere in what they're trying to build, because it can go one way or the other. And then um he asked her if, like, she was fearful of being alone in the room with him, and she said that she felt comfortable. And they kind of bonded over their weird quirkiness. So it could be promising, but I don't know. I don't know. The jury's still out on them too. Then we have Courtney and Nick. She asked him about, the reality shows, and is he serious about what he's there to do. Um, Her family likes him. She doesn't seem too sold in what she was saying. Um, Courtney said she was pleased with the day, though. She was good with how the day played out. And then they did get in and kiss goodnight when they went to bed. So then we have Tori and Felipe, and he says that it's Brazilian culture that when you cut the cake, you give the first piece of cake to the most important person in your life. And he said, "Mom, I love you," and he gives Tori the first piece of cake because they are married now, and she has become the most important person in his life. Tori is physically attracted to Felipe. She says he's hot. He said he feels vulnerable in this situation, which anyone would, and he wants her to fall for him. But the jury's out on Felipe because Felipe likes to get crunk. Then we have Marissa and Adam. I feel like he loves his jet ski and pretentious life more than he is interested in being a husband. They talk about, how it felt realizing that they knew one another. And she said that she was going to sleep on the couch, but then they closed the curtains and everything. So did she sleep on the couch? But yeah, that was Married at First Sight, episode 3. From the preview of what's to come in the season, I think this season is going to be pretty interesting because these couples are very interesting, and I'm curious to see how these dynamics will play out, because most of them, I'm a little concerned about how this is going to go in the long run. Like Nikki and Sean, I don't see it for them at all. Not at all. And I just hope that Belle Jolie and Mecca can put aside their histories to try and make a real go at it. And yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll be back on next Friday with the next episodes. Bye.